Angry MGTOW here, or something like that. Yeah. Today we're discussing why feminist white women will cry as they regret feminism. And this is a response to Keith Wohr. How the hell do you pronounce that? Oh well. So feminist white women will cry as they regret feminism. You think this is a joke? You think this is a game? Think not. I recently did a video featuring an older homeless woman named Kathleen, I think it was, and she was 63 years old. She was currently living out in the wilderness, and she was quite a bit disillusioned. Not even a bit. She was delusional. Talking about her lifestyle was lovely. She was living terribly. Well, I wanted to bring up another video, and following up on the theme, I thought that I would feature this incredible video where there's another interview with a homeless woman. However, this might tug at your heart a little bit because while Kathleen was having a jolly good time being homeless in her delusional world, we're going to take a look at another woman who realizes homelessness isn't fun. So let's go ahead and pull up the video. And let's get this party started. Or is it, let's get ready to rumble? I used to have this guy named Magnus Deacon here. He would do it more. He used to do that. I miss old Magnus, but he left the community and he betrayed MGTOW. Anyway, let's watch this video.
2016. I'm Keith Wohr, and welcome to another episode of Homeless and Cocoa. And today we're being joined by, and what is your name, ma'am?
Catherine Smith.
And Catherine, how long have you been homeless?
Almost 2 years now.
And what was your life like before you were homeless?
Well, I filed for my Social Security. I got my disability and I moved onto a person's property out on Satellite Boulevard. He lived at the end of Eureka. His name was Joe Nyland. He let me live on my property.
Guys, do you see those tears running down her face? I mean, this woman clearly doesn't enjoy being homeless. But if you notice another pattern, she's receiving Social Security or Social Security disability, and she is homeless. And she's been homeless for about 2 years now. And unlike the delusional Kathleen in the previous video who was living outside of her car, this woman certainly does not seem happy as a homeless person. And she is crying her eyes out. And you can see that it's a shameful, difficult life. So I'm not saying that it's a good thing, but it's actually good to see that at least someone is aware that being homeless isn't fun.
On his property until I got my disability. When I got my disability, I bought him a truck, I bought my boyfriend a truck, and I lived in a small trailer out there, and I paid him rent because I got $700 a month. Mm-hmm. Then, like about 6 months after that, I got into a vehicle accident. I got $150,000 from that. I ended up with about $90,000. I took the money because I trusted this person so much.
So she got into an accident and she got $150,000 in settlement. And after everything was said and done, she said she got about $90,000. So maybe the lawyer fees, whatever. She had $90,000 untaxed by the government that she could stuff in her pocket. And here we go with her bad decisions. Now, prior to this, she was also getting $700 a month from Social Security. And the way disability works is that once you apply for disability, they have to go back and pay you from the day that you applied. So if you applied, let's say that she applied and she waited 2 years to get her disability because she said that she bought a truck for some guy and she also brought a trailer. So it sounds like she was waiting a couple of years. So she may have gotten somewhere in the neighborhood of $14,000, even maybe $20,000 in disability cash. but she wasn't doing bad. So she got a ton of disability money, got a good amount of disability money, and then she got into a so-called car accident. Doesn't look like she was seriously injured. She doesn't look like a person that was seriously injured right now. And she got a $90,000 as a settlement. That is more than most people will ever get. That is more than most people will ever get. I mean, I know this girl who got into an accident, and they are hassling her. She ended up leaving the accident with something like ringing in her ears. I forget. I think it's called vertigo. There were a bunch of different things that ended up happening after she got into the accident, and she had a hard time collecting anything. I remember when I was in business school. She still hasn't been able to collect. In fact, I remember when I was in business school, the deputy prosecutor, and my district attorney, he was one of my teachers, deputy district attorney. He was my law professor when I was in business school, and he basically told us a story about how the ceiling came caving in on this woman, on this girl, and it like damaged her, and she suffered potentially some brain damage, and she was in the hospital for a while, and there was like swelling in her brain, and then after that happened, there was she tried to recover, and then there was this picture where she went to like this place and she was playing the drums and her hair was flying everywhere, and they basically used that picture in court to say, well, if she's able to do this, then how damaged can she really be? And I thought to myself, holy fuck, you are one evil motherfucker. Because they weren't trying to dispute that she wasn't damaged, that she did not sustain brain damage. She clearly sustained brain damage, but they are so evil that they cheated her out of a fair settlement, even though she'd have to go through life now with brain damage. So this woman actually got $90,000. $90,000. And because of some poor decision that was of no fault of her own, that's what we're going to hear. Some poor decision that was of no fault of her own. Now she's homeless 2 years later. Right.
I took the money and I put it in a safe.
Instead of a bank account.
Yeah, because if I would have put it in a bank account, the state would have took it. Because that's what the government does when you're on AFDC or, Medicaid and all that stuff. They take the money back from you.
Okay.
So I put $90,000 in this guy's safe, but I didn't get a receipt because I trusted him. Well, everything was fine. I bought myself a fifth wheeler.
So basically the government will take the money back if you go on disability. The government will take the money back. Wow. So she basically fucked up pretty badly. She was on disability, and she said that if she gets a settlement, the government will take the money back. So she wanted to avoid letting the government take the money back. But she got $90,000, and she was only getting $700 a month. I mean, how much could they have taken? Half of that at most? So she still would have had a lot of money left. She still would have had like $45,000 left. But in her efforts to shortchange the government, she got fucked over. Should I feel sorry for this woman? Should you feel sorry for her? She could have also taken the money and put the money into a safety deposit box. She could have put the money in a safety deposit box. Anyone using common sense also wouldn't put all of that money in one place. They would have broken the money up. But again, yeah, the dishonesty of a woman cost her everything.
I bought myself a blazer. I bought myself 2 beautiful flat screens. I decked my trailer out. I bought 2 dogs.
And there you have it. So she didn't completely not enjoy it. She brought herself a blazer, so I'm guessing a Chevy Blazer. Let me have a look at what a Chevy Blazer looks like. think it was a Chevy Blazer. Sounds like she bought herself a new one. Oh, that's a nice car. So she got herself a nice Chevrolet Blazer. Okay, she got that, and she decked out her trailer, flat screens, bought herself 2 dogs. So she was living ghetto fabulous. This is how women operate, guys. And this video was actually published on November 8, 2016. This is a recent video. This interview he did very recently. So let's continue watching. But like I said, there's a saying that sometimes when you see someone somewhere, my grandmother used to say this, sometimes you see someone laying somewhere and, they look like they're in need, but they're the ones who put themselves there, and you should leave them there. She used to call certain people wretches.
I gave one of the dogs to him, and then one day, about I don't know how long it was, probably about a year to a year and a half after I got the money. I probably had like about between $70,000 and $80,000 left. And I went down to his trailer from my fifth wheeler, and I opened the door, and I looked at him, and he had had a stroke. The whole side of his face was falling down. And I looked at him and I said, look, I have to call 911. And he looked at me, and he always held a gun under his chair. He looked at me and he said, if you call 911, I'm going to shoot you. And by the way, you don't have any money in my safe. And so I left. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want him to shoot me. So I went back to my fifth wheeler. I stayed there for 2 days. On the third day, I let my dog out to go to the bathroom every day. But on the third day, I let my dog out. And he was in his truck in the yard, and my dog was running around, and he purposefully ran my dog over.
Oh, God.
When he ran my dog over, I went into a terrible depression. I was depressed for over a year, and I left everything. He wasn't going to give me my money. I paid $6,500 for my fifth wheeler, minus the stuff that was inside of it. It was beautiful. He called me up one day and he said, if you don't come get, this was while I was in the depression because I got my truck and I left. He called me one day and he said, if you don't come out here and get your trailer off my property, I'm going to take it and drop it off on satellite. I said, you can't do that. I have no way to move it. He goes, well, then I'll give you $1,200 for it. I says, I paid $6,500 for it, and it was almost brand new. I said, and you're going to give me $1,200 for this trailer? No way. He says, take it or I'm moving the trailer. So I had to go out there, take the $1,200 because that's all I could get. I went to the police in Cocoa. I went to the police in Merritt Island. Tried to get somebody to do something about it. They said, look, if you didn't have him sign a piece of paper, we can't do anything about it. That's how I became homeless.
So, it's funny how this woman was victimized by this bastard. He sounds like a terrible guy, but at the same time, in her attempt to cheat the government, she ended up losing everything. And to top that off, it's funny because you look at a guy like me. A guy like me would not do something like this to a woman, to anyone. I wouldn't rob someone like this. And most of us listening, not all of us, because some of you bastards are horrible, but most of us wouldn't do something like this. We wouldn't do this. Most people would not do something so despicable. But the thing is that when women are, when they've basically betrayed men to this point, they end up getting preyed upon by these type of men. They end up getting taken advantage of by society. And it's funny, in this case, she had no one to turn to. The legal system is so narrowed against men, but it's funny that there are times when it won't work for a woman, especially when she has no proof. Women have literally used the system to destroy the lives of men. And now, men are going to use the system a lot of men are going to use the system in that way to hurt women. All right, because, when a woman is flat broke and she has no one to turn to, guess what? In this new economy where entitlements run out and men just don't give a damn anymore, female privilege is going to die. The golden vagina is losing its value. If you look at Europe, I've talked about it. In Greece, sex is selling for €2. €2. Teenagers are selling sex for €2. Teenagers. That's the most desirable group of women. Teenagers are selling sex for €2 just so they can eat because they are hungry. €2. And Greece is a country this is not some African country. This is not some Somalian. It's not like Somalia. This is Greece, a highly developed country that's been it's been around long before the U.S. It has roots. Greece, of all places, Greece. Think of Ibiza. It's insane to think that this is something that is happening in Greece right now. And Greeks are white. You don't really get much more white than a Greek. And this is something happening in a white country. A developed, not a third world, a developed white country. The women are selling sex. The teenagers are selling sex for €2 so they can eat a cheese sandwich or a cheese pie. Okay? Guys, this is the type of shit that's headed to America. Women are headed for serious devastation. Millennial women are going to find themselves with nothing. Notice this woman, she's still receiving a check. That's what a lot of these millennial women don't get. This woman is sitting here crying her eyes out. She is homeless. She's still receiving a check. Back when I was homeless, I knew a lot of people who were receiving checks. There were a lot of homeless people that I was living with that were receiving checks, and I couldn't get it. I could not understand it. And they were getting checks immediately. There was this one woman, she was getting something like $700, $800 a month. I told you guys about it. And she was also getting reduced bus fare, all kinds of shit. All kinds of benefits. She was getting all kinds of benefits. And she was homeless. And I came to realize that she chose to live that way. She chose to live that way. Because even though she was homeless, she always had brand new clothes. She always had her hair done. And when I say her hair done, I mean her hair was done. Brand new clothes, her nails were done, so she was always getting pedicures and manicures. And she was homeless. You think this is a game? It's not a game. And it was one woman after another woman after another woman. I remember this one woman, she was flying around, going to visit her son, all kinds of crap. And I'm thinking to myself, where are you getting money to do this stuff? You're homeless. Where are you getting money to do this stuff? And then she would mention sometimes that, she was getting scholarships and grants. And I'm thinking, this doesn't make any sense. Why are you still homeless? There was a guy who got a job and he was working in security. And something like 2 months, at least a month or two passed. And I would think to myself that, he would have gotten off the streets by now. I thought to myself, shit, as soon as I get some cash, I'm going to get off the streets. But months later, the guy's still homeless. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? And I realized he chose to remain homeless. But it was more so for women. I said it before, a lot of homeless people like being homeless. And when it comes to women, women are very bad at spending money. They would rather live in a car or even live on the street and have a good time. during the summertime, I remember these women would literally have a barbecue. They would have fun and practically throw a party. And they were more than happy to continue living this lifestyle because they didn't have to pay bills. They didn't have responsibilities. It was like they were living off someone else's dime. They were. What I said, it's like they were. They're living off taxpayers. They were living off taxpayers. So I look at this woman, and I feel sorry for her to some degree, but my feeling sorry for her won't get her anything. And like I said, there's so many women who have been dishonest to men and taken advantage of men that then now women are going to run into dishonest men who have no problem taking advantage of women and using women for everything they have. Yeah.
Yep.
Does your family know you're homeless?
Yes, my family doesn't care at all. I have a sister who's really wicked. And she goes and she tells my dad that I prostitute. I sit out there and fly a sign almost every day. This whole community knows me. She goes and tells my dad I prostitute. She goes and tells my dad I do drugs.
Have you had to prostitute yourself?
No, I don't. No, I've refused to. I'm not selling my soul. I've lost everything I had.
Now, it's funny. I don't believe her, honestly. And because so many women lie about it. And then you find out, oh, well, I did it once or twice, but it wasn't. Again, it's just funny, but look at how evil her sister is. Something that Sabella Shepherd actually talks about, and I'll give Sabella credit on this one. She sometimes talks about the fact that women can be really evil, women can be really narcissistic, and you can see just how little care this woman has towards her. Her father is still alive, and what's her father doing to help her? Not a damn thing. I want to tell you guys something else. If you look at this woman, look at her very carefully. Her hair doesn't look like an old person's hair. To be very honest with you, I would say that she looks like she's somewhere in her 50s. But, I remember when I was homeless and I met this woman, and I think she was actually in her 40s, and she looked like a 60-something-year-old or almost a 70-year-old. I think this woman is actually much younger than she really looks. But probably because of drug use and hard living, that's why she looks so much older. Let me know if you agree with that.
I'm not going to lose my soul. So I won't. I sit on the corner and I fly a sign that says homeless and hungry. Anything helps, God bless. And with the help of my friends out here in the woods, if I'm hungry, they'll feed me. Or people that go up and down the road will feed me. And I don't care if they give me, if they think that I'm spending the money on drugs, then all they have to do is go to Wendy's, go to Burger King, go anywhere and buy me a food card. I'll use those. I'm happy to have those. Same as cash to me.
Okay, so why would people suspect that she's using drugs? Like I said, she looks like the type that has used drugs. She honestly does. There's certain face, look how skinny she is. This does not look like a woman. This looks like a woman who looks much older than she really is. I've said that already. And I honestly think that she's been using drugs. I don't believe her story about never getting into prostitution. She does not, she seems like she has a bunch of sob tales. And even the story that she's telling about the situation with the guy, we don't know if she's even telling us all of the truth. But this is what the kind of circumstances that women get themselves into. I will practically guarantee you something. If you were to go back to the same guy that she was living with, that she was renting a piece of land from, and she was living on that land, if you go back to that same guy, my friends, if you go back to that same guy, I guarantee you he will have a different story in place. He'll have a completely different story. And she looks like a drug addict. She does. And imagine if he says that he ran her off his property over drugs.
because I will go up there and I will buy food with it. But somebody's gone around. I had one person pull around the corner and tell me, oh, well, nobody's going to give you any money because they know what you're doing with the money. They know you're buying drugs. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at myself and going, oh my God, I'm so hungry. If you think I'm buying drugs, buy me a $5.
Here's another thing. She's like, I'm so hungry. Whose job is it to feed you? Let's be really clear. Whose job is it to feed you? People feel sorry for you, but whose job is it to feed you? She's acting like it's the job of, when I was homeless, there were people that came around and gave us food. And I lived, and it definitely helped me survive when I was homeless. Water especially was one of the biggest things, bottles of water that people would come around and give to us. But to be very honest with you, I mean, I'm looking at this woman and thinking to myself that she is so full of shit. Because I've been homeless, and her story is just not adding up. There's so many things in her story that just doesn't add up. She's not actually saying that she's never done drugs. She's not actually saying she's never done drugs, but she's trying to appear like she's not doing drugs. She looks like the type that has done crystal meth.
Burger King card. I can't even trade in a $5 Burger King card for money.
Right.
But it'll buy me some food. So,
what's your living situation like here in the woods? Do you have a tent?
I have a little old lady that went up to Michigan and got me an Ozark Trail tent. It's an $80 tent. Yeah. I went to Walmart with $80 in my pocket 4 times to get the same exact tent. This is how much I believe in God, because this is what he did for me. I went to Walmart 4 times with $80 in my pocket to buy the same exact tent. This little lady seen me flying a sign out on the corner, and I met her. I went to her house. She let me wash some clothes and stuff. She gave me a meal. She took me back. She called me about 2 weeks later.
She said she went to Walmart 4 times to get the same exact tent. So wait, was the same exact tent not there all 4 times that she went to get the tent? Because if she had the $80 to get the tent and she went multiple times to get the tent, why didn't she get the tent? Why did she have to wait until the little old lady got it for her?
Later said she was going to Michigan to visit her family, and she called me from Michigan and she says, I have a tent for you, because she knew I was living in a tiny little tent that was falling apart. And when she came back with the tent that I had gone to Walmart 4 times to get.
Wow.
Yeah, so it trips me out the way that God works, but God does work.
So you said you get a check every month. You get Social Security disability.
Yeah.
And are you having...
Now, you gotta look at this guy's face. I just love his I love how he sneaks it in there. Now, you say you get a check every month, because he's sitting there thinking to himself, now the wheels are beginning to spin inside of his head. He's starting to smell bullshit. Like, the bullshit radar is going off. You can only take so much bullshit. And now he's saying, wait, but you get a check every month, don't you? And here's another thing that's really weird about that. Here's something that's really odd. If she was getting Social Security and the government knew that she had received the money, I'm scratching my head on this. She's getting Social Security, the government knows that she received the $90,000, then they would likely have put a lien on that money, wouldn't they? Because they know that she received it. So in other words, she would owe the government a certain amount of money. So they would have probably stopped her Social Security, wouldn't they? If she owed them the money. The government knows that she got the check. The government knows that she got the money. So I'm scratching my head on that one.
A hard time finding somebody that will rent to you at a reduced rate?
Oh no, I don't have a hard time finding anybody that rents to me at a reduced rate. You know how many people I've rented rooms from?
Well, I'm not
I've
talking about
rented
people. I'm
rooms
talking about from government agencies like HUD and different things.
That's
like
kind of hard to do when people keep on stealing my ID and my social security card. And I mean, you can't keep anything locked up out here. If you don't keep it on you 24/7, you're gonna lose it.
Okay, so she receives a check. You can clearly see that something is not right with this woman, and it's not simply depression. For example, if she gets a check every single month, it's highly possible to get some type of storage unit. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be extravagant, but she can figure something out. She can find a place to store her personal documents, a social security card, a passport. That kind of stuff can be handled. There's also women's shelters that she can turn to. The fact that she is getting money from the government, I'm scratching my head on this. She's also said that she's rented rooms before. So this is something that that's another thing. That's another discrepancy, which suggests that she hasn't been homeless the entire time between the point where she left that guy's house, left his property, and where she began living in the woods. That's another discrepancy. I'm spelling so much bullshit right now. It's ridiculous. And she's like the perfect example of modern day women. You can't trust anything that comes out of their mouths, and they're all victims of their circumstance, victims of a man, but definitely not victims of their own doing.
Someone's gonna take it.
Do you have an ID?
Nope. I've gotten 3 IDs since I've been homeless, and I've told every single person out here, look, I do not put anything in no money in my wallet. There's never any money in my wallet.
Right.
My money goes in my pocket.
Right.
And they still steal my wallet. They steal my wallet. They throw my IDs wherever, in the garbage can, whatever. I've gone out and got them 3 times. I'm tired of go getting them. I could get on assistance. I could, but I have to send to Pennsylvania to get my birth certificate. I have to have money to do that because it costs money for them to send you your birth certificate.
Right.
I have to have an ID to make a photocopy of it so that I can send that photocopy to Pennsylvania to get my birth certificate. And then I have to get a whole bunch of stuff, which would mean me having a ton of money to ride the bus to all kinds of places to get the paperwork that I need to file for the birth certificate, go to Social Security to get proof of my income, get an ID. That costs money. Everything costs money. Yeah. Everything. So every little bit that I get, it seems like I'll take 1 step forward and 3 steps backwards. I'll get an ID and I'll go, okay, now I'm going to go get a Social Security card. I'll get a Social Security card. 2 weeks later, they're gone. So I've just kind of given up on trying to get a HUD house, or not a HUD house, but what is it, Section 8. I could get, I'm eligible for Section 8. Yeah. But I can't get on it because every time I try and take those steps to do it, I had, what are they called? Rescue unit or something.
She's eligible to get onto Section 8. Now, initially I thought that, from what I understood, you needed to have children to get on Section 8. But there are also other programs out there to help women. There are special programs out there that literally help women, and rescue units that go around and it will help women. The services are not available to men. I've talked about this. The services are not available to men, but they will literally take the women off the street, and it sounds like she could potentially qualify for some type of special Section 8 grant that would allow her at least a period of time to get back on her feet. Welcome to America. Thank God for Donald Trump, because he's about to cut that shit.
Whatever that was, they took me and got my ID for me one time. And darned if a month later, he'd turn around My wallet's gone. The ID is gone.
Wow. Are you out here on the streets by yourself, or do you
I'm
have
by
somebody else
myself.
that's looking out for you?
No, the people that look out for me, the people that are out here, and they don't look out for me very good because I had an air mattress stolen right out of my tent. I had all of my winter clothes stolen. I have no winter clothes now. Somebody had to give me a jacket yesterday. One of my friends gave me just this jacket. I'm nothing. I'm not ready for winter. I'm gonna freeze in that tent because the hookers take all my clothes. If I get any nice clothes, the hookers take them. So, it sucks. It sucks really bad.
Does anyone believe her crocodile tears? The hookers take all my clothes. Does anyone believe this bullshit? Are you really buying this shit? Do any of you really believe this shit that is coming out of her mouth right now? Because I'm not believing it. I'm not believing those crocodile tears. I am calling bullshit on all of it. All of it. Oh my gosh.
And it's not because I'm not out here because of drugs. I'm not out here because of anything I did except being stupid.
She's not out there because of drugs. She's not out there because of anything she did except for being stupid and trusting someone, right? My ass. She does not look how skinny she does not look like the frame. She doesn't have the normal body frame of someone. She looks like someone who's been on drugs. And why would people naturally accuse her of having been on drugs? Because she looks like someone that's been on drugs. She doesn't actually say that she has not been on drugs. She tries to deviate like she hasn't been on drugs. But at no point has she actually firmly said, I have never used drugs. I do not actively use drugs. She said she's not out there because of drugs. She sounds like a person who's in complete denial. Complete denial. Crocodile tears. And do you hear all the different people that have helped her constantly? You know what's probably happened to those IDs that she's gotten? She probably sold them to other homeless people. Because you can sell IDs. You can sell an ID and people will use your ID to do things. They'll use them to buy alcohol. They'll use them to forge things. Again, an ID, you can use an ID for a bunch of different things. She's probably selling her IDs. She probably gets one right after the other and sells it. Sells it for the purpose of, so that she can buy more drugs. When you're on drugs, you will do anything, and you will never admit to being on drugs. There was this show called Nurse Jackie a few years ago. I don't know if you guys ever watched it. I think it was on Showtime. And Nurse Jackie, she was one of the greatest liars on the planet, and she was a hardcore drug user. I mean, it was disgusting. She destroyed her marriage, her relationship with her kids, her life, her profession, potentially the profession of our friends. She destroyed relationships. She fucked up everything. I mean, and the amount of money she wasted on drugs and caused others. She had a friend who was a doctor, and her friend spent something like $60,000 trying to get her clean. That shit went out the window. I mean, it's just been up and down and back and forth. And at the end of the series, you think that she's learned her lesson. You think that she's finally changed. Nope. As soon as she gets off probation, because she was on probation at her job for drug use, as soon as she gets off probation, what does she do? She immediately starts using drugs again, like the exact moment. And then the end of the series ends with her overdosing finally, overdosing again, and laying on the ground knocked out. Oh my gosh. And you can't believe anything that comes out of the mouths of these people. The guy that she was with, he was probably on drugs too. You've got to be kidding me. She said that he had a stroke. When you use a certain amount of drugs, they can cause that type of response. You've got to be kidding me. gotta be kidding me. Don't feel sorry for this woman.
And not making that guy sign a piece of paper saying my money was in that safe. Because now he's dead. Somebody shot him 2 years after he took my money. And I don't know if my trailer's still sitting on that property. But I had to sign the paper to sign it over to him. And it's probably sitting out there rotten right now. Wow. They don't care about that trailer. I scrub that trailer every 6 months when I bought it.
Wow. So those are some of the things that you need right now. You struggle with food, with feeding yourself, and you need some winter clothes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I got to get out of here because I have no protection. Everybody, I've been hit out here at least 3 times by guys. I have people steal my bike.
You mean men trying to sexually assault you?
No, they wouldn't get away with that. But I did have one guy on my birthday, a black guy that lives in a warehouse down here. He'll come up into the woods and he wants me to trick with him, but I don't trick. So he'll come down here and he'll go, oh, come on and hang out at my bay, come and hang out at my bay. Well, he's been doing that for like 2 months now. So, and I've been saying no. So finally on my birthday, I plug my phone in at the Chevron up there so I can charge it. And I go back to my tent to get something. He takes my phone and my charger and takes it down to the warehouse. Now, he was up here 3 times on my birthday. And I was telling everybody my phone's gone. He wouldn't say a word about him having it. Then these 2 guys came in, big white guys that protect me a little bit. They were like, he has your phone. I said, what do you mean he has my phone? They said, yeah, he has your phone. Let's go down and get it. I had to go down there with those guys to go get my phone because he was trying to use my phone to lure me down there.
To do something to you.
Yeah, and I don't do stuff like that.
Wow. It's just, that is incredible.
So she got her white knights. She got her white knights to go to go with her to go get her phone from the big black pimp. Yeah, this is you can't pay for this quality entertainment. Oh my gosh, why isn't my channel bigger? Why isn't my channel bigger? I show you guys so much good stuff. Like, I mean, I'm giving you guys quality A+ entertainment. You don't get this anywhere else. You're not gonna get this from PewDiePie. This is entertainment. This is entertainment. Alright? Listen to me. Guys, my Patreon. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the Patreon link, and you can become a Patreon and help sponsor my work, because my work is fucking awesome. Alright? My work is fucking awesome. This is fucking awesome. This is a fucking awesome channel. Yeah.
Incredible.
It's fucked.
It is.
Fucked up.
And how old did you say you are?
I'm 53.
You're 53.
And I got no business being in the woods at 53. I should have bought a house and been retired.
Yeah.
Wait, you should have bought a house and been retired at 53? Welcome to America, where you retire at 53. 53. Should have bought a house and been retired. Oh my gosh. My goodness.
Did you have children, did you say?
I have one daughter. and she's in Ohio, and she's a good kid. She's never smoked a cigarette. She's never drank a beer. She's never smoked a joint. She doesn't do drugs, no kind of drugs.
And how old
she
is
will
she?
not even get involved with the guy because she doesn't want to bring a child onto this shitty ass earth.
And how old is she?
She's 27 years old.
And does she know that you're homeless and on the street?
No, if she did, I don't know what she'd do, but she wouldn't be very happy. But she's deaf, so I don't try and put my problems on her.
So her daughter is deaf? Guys, this stuff is not... How does she have a deaf daughter? Okay, so there's a thing called fetal alcohol syndrome. Fetal alcohol syndrome can result in a number of different conditions. For example, children can be underweight as a result of fetal alcohol syndrome. They could have various neurological issues. I think it's even possible that they can end up deaf. This woman definitely looks like the type of person that's been drinking throughout her life, done drugs throughout her life. There is no reason why at 53 years old she should look like this. There is no reason why at 53 she should look 63 or 73. How many people her age, how many people at 53 that have lived decent lives do you know that look like this? You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. And she talks about the drug use that her daughter has never done. Her daughter's 27. It's highly suggestive that she has done drugs. It's highly suggestive. Why would she bring it up? Like, oh, my daughter hasn't done any of that. You know, she doesn't want to bring a child into the world like that and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so your daughter doesn't do any of that. But why would you even have to specify that? Why would that be the first thing that you bring up? Because people are always accusing you of having done drugs? You gotta be shitting me.
I don't think that kids should take care of their parents unless their parents are incapable of taking care of themselves. And right now I'm not incapable of taking care of myself. I just can't get a break.
Wow. So, how do you see getting out of this situation? How do you see not being homeless?
I don't know. I keep on asking people if they'll give me jobs and stuff, but I've had so many people.
You have Social Security disability. What's your health like? I can't imagine you can work.
Oh no, I'm my heart's bad. I had 2 strokes and a heart attack. The first year I was out here, I had 2 strokes. The second year I was out here, I had a heart attack and I had to have stents. Just walking to the sharing center to get something to eat.
Wow.
No, I wasn't walking. I was riding a bike.
Wow.
So I wasn't even walking.
Wow. That's just incredible.
Yeah.
That you're living out here on the street with your health like this.
Yeah.
How do you see a doctor? How do you get your medications?
I don't see a doctor.
So you don't see a doctor and you don't take medications on a regular basis?
Nope. I don't take no medications.
If any of your...
And all these people out here, well, not all of them, but most of these people out here smoke crack and I can't stand it. It drives me crazy. And I try and leave when I can, when they're doing it, because they get out of hand, they get nuts. But I don't have too many places to go.
Yeah. If anyone that you know sees this video, do you have any message for them or anything you'd like them to know, or is there anything you'd like the viewers to know about homelessness?
It sucks. Don't ever put your money in somebody's safe and not have them sign a piece of paper.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking a minute to let us get to know you. And
this guy is looking at her thinking to himself, she is so full of shit. Not even this guy believes her. Not even this guy. You can tell this guy doesn't believe her bullshit. No one is believing her bullshit. No one is believing those donkey tears. I don't believe him. He doesn't believe him. None of us believe him. Alright? She is so full of shit. It's not even funny. Her donkey tears.
And and hopefully people will reach out and have some kind of help for you. And
I could use it.
Just wish you the best.
Thank you. And thank you so much for the backpack. I really did need that a lot.
You're welcome.
Somebody gave me one last year and it just finally wore out. So I needed this one.
Good. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Thank you.
Okay, so he bribed her with a backpack to get the interview? Gosh, you guys gotta be kidding me. This is some, at least she admitted that homelessness isn't fun after she's been living this life for a while. The other woman, Kathleen, that I showed you a video of, she'd only been homeless for less than 2 weeks. I bet you after a couple of months of living that way, she'll either change her story or she'll have to be committed to a mental institution. I don't even know. She's gone insane, though. That other one went insane. This woman, on the other hand, she was definitely full of shit. And, a lot of millennial women are going to end up like this woman. They are going to cry and weep. Long tears that, as a result of the crap that they've done. She is playing such a victim. Crocodile tears. This is just so pathetic. It's not even funny. It's just ridiculous. And there's so many women are like this. Like I said, feminist white women will cry as they regret feminism. In her 20s, she could have gotten herself a nice man, and she could have had children. But for all we know, she did get a man in her 20s, or somewhere around there, and she did have a child, at least one, and she probably fucked him over. That's the nature of what women have done in this generation, and they find themselves alone, and no other man wants to deal with them. This generation of women, that's all that they have. Pump and dump is their future. That's the best that they have going for them. Pump and dump, and have a night and maybe a guy will let them spend the night. Although more and more men are increasingly getting hesitant to even let a woman near their home. He'll pump and dump her in his car, or pump and dump her in a park. I don't know, guys. This is just downright ridiculous. Let me know if you agree that feminist white women will begin to cry as they regret feminism, because they did not fathom that they would be this screwed over as a result of it. The legacy of feminism will live on even as the title feminism dies off. But the legacy of feminism is going to impact women worse than you would ever imagine, because the legacy of feminism will be one not only where women still are narcissistic, but men want to have nothing to do with them, and the so-called privileges that they fought for, now they're going to get true equality. They're going to get the equality to live just like men have lived, without the privileges and the entitlements. I remember her mentioning that she could go and get Section 8, but, first off, to get Section 8, there's a bunch of, there are different provisions that you have to go through to get Section 8. And, let's see here. I'm looking at some of the requirements, and, again, people with disabilities can apply for Section 8. You want to meet all requirements to apply for Section 8 program. So the fact that age or disability certificate if you're applying as a disabled person or as a person over the age of 62. So because she is disabled, because she is technically disabled, then that's the reason why she'd be able to apply for Section 8. Not because she is disabled. That's the reason why she would have been able to apply for Section 8. Because otherwise, if you're not disabled, you need to have children to apply for Section 8. But because she is disabled, she'd be able to apply for Section 8. And even then, the thing is with Section 8, you can't be on drugs to get Section 8. You can't be on drugs. And if they find out you're on drugs, you can lose your Section 8, I think. So there's a lot of provisions in that. This woman was a complete train wreck, and you can notice she just won't stop lying. She would not stop lying. I don't know if we heard a single honest thing come out her mouth the entire time that guy was speaking to her. And we're going to see more women like this. This is the future for women. Homelessness, disparities, unable to sustain themselves. Women have made their beds, and now they're going to have to lay in it. Let me know if the future for women is really a dark and difficult one because women have brought this onto themselves. I want to know what you guys think in the comments section. Like I said earlier, please consider going over to my YouTube homepage or clicking on the link in the description of this video that will take you to my Patreon and leaving a donation via my Patreon. And I do 3 of these videos a day plus bonus videos. So this really helps to ensure I can continue to make quality content for you guys. So definitely please do that for me. And don't forget that you can enable notifications on this channel by going to the notification button that's right next to the subscribe button right below any of my videos. Click on the notification button. It looks like a bell. And you'll see a pop-up that says send me all notifications for this channel. Make sure the box is checked. Hit save. If you've already done it, you don't have to do it again. This will ensure you never miss another Angry MGTOW video ever again. You'll always get a notification whenever I'm streaming or whenever I put out another video. And if you've done it already, don't have to do it again, but never miss another Angry MGTOW video ever again by making sure that you've enabled notifications. And even if you get unsubscribed, it will make sure you continue to get notifications. So again, if you enjoyed the video, definitely let me know what you think in the comment section. If you agree that for feminist women in general, they are going to cry tears, they're going to cry horribly and harshly as privileges are lost because of the things they've done. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MGTOW or death. And cheers.